So, so today we're going to talk about strategies for building successful products. If I can remember, that's what we were discussing on Tuesday about products and how you can build around your customers and how to understand the problems that your customers do have, and then to build a product from that. So from what I know, from what a famous business person. His name is Michael Saber. He's the founder of the Garitan TV, and he's also one of the trainers at Y Combinator. He said that the best way for an entrepreneur is not to build customers around, not to build customers around your product, to build your product around your customers. That means you first have to understand that these are my customers. This is the problem that I'm seeing. This is the product I should bring on board. Because it's very easy for you to find customers for a product, to find a product for customers that are existing, rather than to try and find customers for a product that you think is solving their problems. You cannot create a superficial problem. You need to create a problem. You need to solve a problem that's existing. And that's the only way for a business to survive in the long run. If you have a good product, it needs to reciprocate with the problems that are there in the community, or the problems that you're trying to solve for your own customers. So in building a successful product, you need to understand the two approaches in finding a problem. And then the two approaches are as follows. One of them is the narrow approach, and the other one is the broad approach. In the narrow approach, we try to find one relevant solution to a problem. Say, for example, if you are dealing with something to do with transport, for example, the transport means you want to make it easier for people to move from point A to point B. The best approach for the narrow approach, you can decide, okay, I'm going to create an app that aggregates all the Matatu owners so they can register themselves in that application, and anyone who wants to move from probably say Eldoret to Nairobi, they just need to open the application, and then they can just find the closest Matatu to their place, and then they can just, from there, they can get to Nairobi. That's a narrow approach. It's just solving that problem of moving from point A to point B using one single solution that's on a mobile application. So for the broad approach, this is where you come up with a list of potential solution based on the challenges that you have developed or the problem that you're seeing in the community, which means for the broad approach, you're going to ask yourself the different other solutions that you can bring on board. One of them being the mobile application. Maybe you can decide the other solution you want to bring from moving people from point A to point B is removing the transport thing at large and decide, okay, what are you going to do at point B? Probably you're going to for a meeting. What about to bring something called Zoom in the picture? You can do a remote meeting, or you can do remote work without going to work to your workplace. So that's another solution. So you have two solutions. One of them is having an aggregate or a mobile application that allows you to move from point A to point B seamlessly. That's like a mobile application. And then the other solution would be having a platform where you can work remotely, or you can meet virtually without having to travel from point A to point B. Those are two solutions you can come up. So the most healthy way is to come up with at most five solutions to that potential challenge that you have decided, you have noted that you want to pursue. So in the narrow approach, you are going to focus on building products that are specific to the needs that your customers are facing frequently and with high intensity. So the best way to realize to note down a problem is looking at what's the propensity that problem is affecting the target market. How are you going to say this product that I'm having at the moment, this problem that I'm identifying is affecting people with? It might be a problem that's going to affect them in the short run. Is it going to be a problem that's going to affect them in the long run? In that way, you can realize, okay, I'm going to pursue the short term, probably because I don't want to do entrepreneurship for the long run, or probably because it's going to give me more returns than a long run problem. So having a narrow approach enables you to identify that one problem that customers are facing with frequently and with high intensity. So probably for a long-term business, a business that you want to reap or you want to harvest good returns, you want to pursue something that's long run. So for example, if there is flooding, you expect flooding to be there for a short while when we have long rains. After long rains, you have to wait for another maybe 1 year or maybe 5 years for the El Nino rains, probably if that happens. So if you're solving a problem, make sure that you're looking at the frequency. How long is that problem affecting the target customers that you're trying to bring on board? And then the best way is to try to identify the problem and the experiences that your customers are facing. So the narrower the problem, it's easier to find a solution that fits perfectly. So from the business model canvas, we talk about the far right side of the canvas, that's the customer segment. From that, you can understand, you can try to bring down the problem to the narrower approach and understand if this problem, how can we make this problem specifically meet that target group that you're going to pursue, which means so is there anybody else who has a problem with the volume? So anyone who has a problem with the volume except for Samuel? Geoffrey, are you able to get me clearly? John, anyone who's able to get me clearly can maybe just say I'm audible and then we can continue.
You are very audible.
Okay, somewhere maybe probably it's your device.
Very audible, very audible.
Somewhere maybe probably check your device and then maybe increase the volume, something like that. So what I'm saying is try to find a narrow approach to the problems you're trying to solve. That's the best way to come. It's of course it saves you time. You don't have to list down 5 ideas and then you can build a matrix to probably shift out those ideas that you don't want to pursue. So if, for example, you're talking about solving the problem of moving from point A to point B, and you just decided from your head that you're going to build a mobile application, just took the shortest time possible to build a product, other than saying, I'm going to maybe consider doing a mobile application, consider doing something to do with the mobile platform that allows you to communicate or to work remotely. So coming the narrow approach. So the other thing in the narrow problem focus is understanding the problem, the exact problem that your customer on the customer's pain points. Okay, so this happens mostly for businesses. If you're not able to understand your customer's problem specifically, you're going to have a big problem, especially selling your solutions. You find companies do like mostly to exaggerate the problems that customers have, which is a best marketing strategy, but also it's not healthy because if somebody else if somebody else comes with another product that they're saying, okay, the product that you currently have is telling you they are solving this and this, but you're coming up with another problem that's solving the specific problem that you're facing. You can see this with things to do with social network services, SNS. Like we have Facebook, we have Instagram, we have Twitter. All of them are doing the same thing, but they are focusing on a particular problem because somebody came, Facebook started and saying, okay, the only problem people want to have, the only problem that people have is communicating with others globally. So they came up with the Facebook. And then Twitter came on and said, okay, what people just want to do is post their status, post their dots, and then just say, okay, I'm doing this and that's all. And then Facebook came, and then Instagram came to the picture. Instagram said, okay, what people want to do is tell people, okay, I'm doing this, and this is me doing it. Like this specific thing I'm doing. Here's a picture of mine. Here's the picture of the current situation that I'm in, the current predicament or the current space I'm in. So that comes to understanding the customer's pain points. In Facebook, from the first, they knew that there are several aspects of customers, and this is what the customers want. They could have decided, okay, we could make a platform where things to do with tweets, retweets, or something, just a simple way to communicate to people without having to overcomplicate the product by trying to, because Facebook came in, was asking a lot of information for you to open an account, asking you to for major updates. That's why you can see Facebook tries to at least copy products from other social services, like the stories from Snapchat, and then you're having something to do with Meta AI from something with like ChatGPT. So the best way to explain this, the narrow problem approach, is using Duolingo. I don't know if most of you know about Duolingo. Duolingo is a Duolingo is a mobile application that allows you to, is a business. First, is a business that allows you to learn new languages at the comfort of your mobile application. So, or at the comfort of your devices. So Duolingo the founders of Duolingo, I don't remember the exact year, but I think it's in the late 2000s and the early 2010s. So they decided to they found that the cost to learn a new language was the cost of learning a new language was overbearable for, especially most people who are migrants. If you're moving from Central Asia countries, like the Russian-speaking countries, and you're going to maybe, for example, the Western countries, to the Americas, the United States of America, it was very hard for you to access to pay for the cost of moving from that country to USA, and then going to find a new trainer to teach you on running English. And then at the top of it, you have to pay for your rent, you have to pay for your food, you have to pay for your amenities. So the founder of Duolingo decided, saw that as a major problem. So they came up with a solution, a mobile application that was free for everyone. So Duolingo targeted a specific problem. That problem of accessibility and the cost of running a new language. And then they were able to make it affordable and accessible for everyone. Today, you can just go to Play Store and download Duolingo, just open an account, and you have every language in the world listed there except from our local languages. I don't think we have our local languages are not in that platform, but you can learn Spanish, you can learn Korean, you can learn Chinese, any other language that's in that platform, even Kiswahili, you can learn Kiswahili through Duolingo. So they made it the app free, gamified, and it's very the interaction of Duolingo is very unique. Duolingo, it's kind of addictive. Duolingo has the most for those people doing the application and tech businesses, they have the most usable time. Like they have the highest time for scrolling in that platform. It's higher even than social media services like YouTube or Instagram. I think they have, I don't know if I'm not sure, I think it's around 60%, 60 minutes, I think something like that. So Duolingo has the highest use time on their platform because the app is very addictive and it's very gamified. So it's easy, it's fun, and it's flexible. Anytime you want to run, maybe for example, I was taking a language there, Klingon. I don't remember it because I uninstalled the app, but the language was very easy to learn via Duolingo than any other platform to learn that language. So the other approach, the other strategy for building successful product is pricing strategies. For those who are there physically last week, we talked about the price scheming strategy, where you are setting a higher price for a product. And then in future, you can decide, okay, so we have launched a product and we're charging a premium price, probably you can lower down the price. Or then you can consequently, the other advantage of having price scheming is allowing you to know the real users and those people who are just around, they don't want to take your product. So if somebody is buying your product at a premium, that means that customer is invested in your product. So that's a serious user. It also allows you to know, like, their feedback explains to you the actual need for your solution, or what you need to improve actually, because those are the people who have adopted your pricing. They have said, okay, this product, although it's premium, it's for me. So that feedback and enables you to be to build more And then this strategy also allows you to get customers who are invested in your solution. The moment you charge a premium, somebody, like for example, I like to use the example of Apple, the iPhone. So iPhone is a flagship phone that goes from the list is around $1,000. So if somebody is buying $1,000, that means that person is invested in that product. It's a very premium product. Somebody wants to have an iPhone and they're going to forego the cost to get that product. So the moment people say, okay, iPhone next year we need for your next update, do this for us. It means that the people who buy iPhone are the ones that want to see that major change. Other than selling the iPhone at, for example, the phones that most of Africans use, the Chinese phone, the Chinese makes, like for example, Techno. The moment you tell Techno, this is the problem. Techno will not even take you seriously because they just sell to everyone, and it's just you was finding that problem. They don't care because they have a bigger market and their products are so affordable that they don't need to listen to customers' feedback to maybe improve on something. So starting with a higher price also allows you to adjust in future. So it's better for a business to reduce the cost rather than to increase the cost. The moment you increase the cost for a product, people start crying out saying, okay, you write to us, you said that your products are accessible or your products are for everyone. And then now you are trying to increase the cost. That happens also to probably the political situations, the way the governments are run. If the cost for something, especially unga, increases, everyone is going to cry out. But when the cost of unga reduces, everyone is just going to be okay with that. So it's always good for your product, especially if you are launching a new product, to think of price scheming. I'm not saying that you adopt price scheming. You can think of it as a pricing strategy that you can adopt early on to enable you. Another advantage of price scheming is it allows you to return the money that you used to building that product in very quickly. That you can say, we launched last week, but in the next 3 months, using a pricing scheming strategy, you can find that you have broken even or you have returned you have done ROI, return on investment. So it's always good to consider price scheming as a pricing strategy. The other pricing strategies like penetration pricing, where you are starting with a low price and then increasing in the future, which is also acceptable when you want to create buzz or bringing a huge number of people into your product. And then in future, you can increase the pricing. There are others like bundle pricing. We have neutral pricing where the market sets the price for you, etc. So having a pricing strategy allows you to know, like, the product that you are launching, this is the target customer that's going to be in a position to afford that product. So the other strategy is the customer validation. So to that point, anyone was a question on pricing strategy and the narrow problem focus? Okay, so I think it's good. Let's continue. So the other strategy is customer validation. So in business, it's always good to find those desperate customers, to find customers who can't live without your product. I think that's the good explanation of desperate. Desperate means that this person really wants your product so bad that they're willing to forego anything in terms of like cost, or they are willing to just stop using what they're using now and start coming to your product. So it's good that for area validation to find or focus on finding desperate customers who need your product. So these are the customers who, like, the moment you launch today, you don't need to work for a long time before you find the customers who are willing to pay for your product. So if you find a market where your product is really needed, you can say, okay, I have a market that is ready for, I have a market that are willing to adopt my product. So desperate customers are willing to give you honest feedback because they are motivated by a genuine need. So, for example, for us who have mobile phones, we often find ourselves in that situation where you want to go to the internet, maybe to study, maybe to communicate, or maybe to just scroll through the social media networks. So in that process of buying the data, you have your own internet service provider. It can be either Safaricom, M-Pesa, the Wi-Fi companies, or telco. So the moment you decide, okay, for me personally, I think Airtel does very good on the internet side in terms of cost, in terms of reach, and in terms of speed. So the moment you are a desperate customer to Airtel. So what happens is if something happens to you or in that process of buying internet, probably when you bought internet, they said it's 2 GB and then you got 1 GB. It's very easy for Airtel take you seriously because you're going to say, okay, I've been buying this thing for a while, but the the package was 100 shillings for 2 GB. But today when I bought it, I got 1 GB. Oh, what happened? So Airtel will be able to take that feedback because that's a genuine need you have because you've been using that product and then take it into consideration when pricing their products in the future. So so in your business also, it's very good to find those kind of customers, the ones who have foregone their products, they have foregone the thing of cost, they have foregone maybe their uh, uh, place of comfort and decided, okay, I'm going to take up your product. So they are very good in terms of feedback. So these customers, they help you to validate whether your product is solving an actual significant problem. They'll tell you, okay, so the 2 GB that I use every day allows me to communicate with people, or the 2 GB that I use every day allows me maybe to stream a certain period of time in the Netflix, or I can listen to music on Spotify for a whole day. So if you go back to 1 GB, I don't think that's going to be enough for me, and I might try to find a new internet service provider. So the other reason why you should find desperate customers is because they avoid spending it will help you avoid spending more time on customers who are mildly interested in your product. So you can find those customers. This happens mostly for physical stores. You can find those, especially if you're selling clothes. There are customers who just come in, they just come in, just touch clothes, ask you about the cost, and then they just leave. They're not buying anything. So having an ability to know what is the specific customer that I should have, especially for clothing, can say, okay, my target customer are men at this age, they look like this. You can be able to know if somebody is coming to your shop, you can know that this person is the exact customer that I'm trying to solve the problem for, and you can see that mostly on the return on investment or the turnaround time you can have with them in terms of telling them about the product and buying from you. So it's very good to find customers who are desperate for a product to be able to give you or reduce the time for you need to invest on finding customers and be able to depend on their feedback. So the other strategy is on implementations, implementing metrics for success. So for every business at every stage, you need to be able to say, this is the progress we're having at the moment. So, for example, for any company doing something with like a website or a mobile application that they use, people using their product, the user data, it's very good for you, and it's very encouraged for the business to be able to track probably their website traffic, so they can know the number of people that are coming in. Just a minute. Okay, so apologies for that. What I'm saying is, for internet companies, it's always good to be able to know the number of people visiting your traffic, or having a point of sale at every section of your website, so you can know a customer who is buying from me, this is where they started. A customer who is buying from me, they got the motivation to buy from me from a specific area. So, for example, if you're doing a business, I know someone doing the housing, he has a housing marketplace. Is he here, the one who has shelterhub.com? For shelterhub.com, if you want to know to measure the metrics successes of your product, you can be able to ask to have maybe a point of sale or some. Okay, please.
And when did you end up popping your balloon?
Patrick.
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, okay, yeah. So it's good that you're here. So I'm saying the moment you have the business that you're building, that housing marketplace, it's often good for you to have a POS where you can be asking your customers, where did you hear from us? You can just be checking on your website, using the analytics tools like Google Analytics or Mixpanel to be able to know this customer got the motivation to come to my maybe website. Some they did a search first and then they click. They were sent a link by somebody. They just went straight to Google and then just wrote start shelterhub.com. So that allows you to know that my product is mostly being adopted on this side of maybe search, the side of referrals, the side of just pure marketing where people just know if I want a house, I'll just go to shelterhub.com. Asa. So,
Yes.
yes, you can mute.
She don't understand
Okay.
Yes, so so having an effective metrics also allows you to track user actions, to measure engagement, especially if you're having social media. Always for businesses, it's healthy to have social media, especially if you're doing cross county. If you're
the admin can mute the others, please.
yes, I think Patrick has muted himself. So I was saying, it's always good if your business is doing inter-county operations to have something like a social media presence for people to be able to communicate with you. And especially when you have the moment you have something like a social media presence, be able to track the engagement that you're having and ask customers from often or lead through the internet to see this is how the customers are reacting to my product, because you can find people don't complain to you, but the moment your product is not meeting their standards, somebody will just go straight to the internet or Facebook, Twitter, and then just write down and say, okay, product so and so is being said to do this, but the moment you get it, this is what you're getting. So anyone out there who wants to buy such a product, be careful. So always track your user actions and be able to read that feedback from people who don't directly say it to you, but can be able to say it through social networks, so that you can find ways to improve in the future, or just have that interaction with them and try to explain your situation. So the other thing, metrics in business, they should be aligned, closely aligned with your product specifications and business goals, to ensure that every action taken contributes to your desired actions. So everything you're trying to do, be able to know the acceptance rate, the acceptance behavior of people. This is how they are reacting to a product, and the best way to do that is having a metric system. You can have, most people do have that thing for the suggestion box. People can just do comment anything they want, thumbs up, thumbs down. For those who have digital products, they can have the examples of Google Analytics for web traffic. We can have others like Mixpanel, Amplitude, etc. So always have that implementation metrics for success. Know that this is how I should be able to measure success for my business, and this is how I should be able to know that customers are reacting to my product. Is it natural?
Yeah, Peter. I was just asking, how can I be able to measure, like if my product is not and if like my customers are not able to respond online, which other options do I have to monitor how customers are interacting with my products?
Okay, thank you for that. So if you don't have an online presence, you can do something. If you're selling a physical product, you can maybe embed a QR code to the branding that you are selling out the product, and then you can have that QR code. People can scan and leave their opinions. Maybe if you want them to be anonymous, they can leave it anonymously. And then you can have their phone number where people can just call you or SMS you. And then if people are not getting back to you, it's always on the shoulders of the business owner to try to reach out to their customers. If you have been, if you've ever used a product kama GoTV or DSTV, these people, they do call you after a while. They ask you, okay, how are you? How are you feeling about our product? How do you think we should improve in the future? So if the customer is not getting back to you, try reaching out to them. It's always that you can do that by collecting the information about your customers, which is very advisable for every business. I always say if we can register the numbers of your customers and their names and their details, it's always good so that you can have communication in future. If that customer is not buying from you or that customer, you want to do like a reward program for your customers. Sasa wasi natural. I don't know your name. To say,
Thank you. Thank you. My name is Caroline. C is actually the first letter of my name, yeah. But my name is Caroline, yeah.
Okay. So
thank you. Thank you.
Was that sufficient?
Yeah, thanks. I've also been, I'm basically, unajua sisi ni wale analog. I'm really having a challenge. Like now, I would like to, I've been figuring out what I can do. Like because mostly customers pay me by till, they buy goods.
Okay.
But I've really been desiring to have a way of sending an extra message, like when a customer pays and they receive confirmation of payment. I've really been desiring to have a way of like sending them a question or just querying or even just passing information.
Yeah. So that's a good approach.
I'm handcuffed. I'm really handcuffed in that area, but I wish I would find a way of being able to reach a customer each time a customer pays or makes an inquiry, to reach out to them so that I get feedback. Yes.
Yeah, so that's a good approach. I can suggest this company. I don't know if you can be able to be using it. Let me write it on the chat. So it's a company that that does that mostly for businesses. The moment you don't have the capability to be able to collect a user's data, and you want that information mostly for you, especially during payment, you can be able to collect their information and try to contact them using the same platform. So it's called Chapter. So just go, the way I've written it, just go and search it online, and it will help you, especially for this. I think they have a product for MSMEs. So try checking it out, and I think it's going to be useful for you. So any other question from anyone or clarification?
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. So the other strategy is called something embrace iterative development. So iteration means when you're starting a business, you're not necessarily putting a stamp on it and saying, okay, now my business is okay, and we can do this thing for the next 50 years. So a business is good when after a while ask yourself, okay, so we have solved the first problem that customers want, and we have been doing it amazingly for the last maybe probably 6 months. So how are our customers changing? How is their preferences changing, that you can change our product with it? So you can find this mostly for businesses that are for the large businesses. For example, banking businesses, things like Kina Safaricom. So they do this a lot. So you find that they have new product packages every time. You can find they have something like Tumkua changes from time to time. They have Izo Akina Okoa, Floriza. So they understand, they know customers. First of all, the major problem that customers had in Kenya was connectivity. So we solved connectivity. What other ways can we try to solve problems for our customers? So they came up with the internet, they came up with M-Pesa, they came up with, now they're coming with overdraft services like Floriza. We can Okoa, you can copy from M-Shwari or the KCB M-Pesa. So for a business, especially for if you're launching a product, there's something called a 2-week iteration cycles. So this one is where you implement a 2-week product iteration cycle to maintain momentum and keep the development process agile. This means that if you want to change a product, you want to change the delivery you are giving to the customer, the deliverables you are giving to customers, it's always good to do it within a 2-week period time. So this approach allows you to continuously refine and adapt product features based on real user feedback and changing market conditions, which means that for every change that you're trying to make for your product, do it with the user feedback. So it's always good to build like I said, build a product around your customers, which means if a customer says product X is doing this, and it's not what your marketer is doing, trying to change it to do what the customers want. And also in business, we say, as you try to change according to customers' preferences, it's always good to know that people want more. People want flying cars, but you cannot do that at the capacity that you're in. So it's always good, like for the feedback that you're getting, try to understand which is the ability of our business to change to those feedback that customers are giving out. So the more you try to change fast, the faster you're taking your business to oblivion. So it's always good that to have that 2-week stage where you can say, probably after every 2 weeks, let's check on what we need to improve on our product, or if you're improving in our product, let's make sure we do it within a 2-week time period. So another thing is that a shorter iteration cycle fosters a culture of rapid experimentation, encourages learning and from failures, and helps the team to stay focused on delivering to customer values. Which means the moment that you have a shorter period of time to improve on something, it gives you time to change a product without maybe the customers knowing that you changed something, or you change a product and give customers a shorter period of time to not change the product that we're using. So if, for example, say you use Eldohub, because I think it's the only product that's stuck in my head. So, for example, for Eldohub, if you were to improve your website, and then it takes you 3 months to improve that website, and it has been down for the last 3 months, you find even the customer that you have already shifted. They have already found another person to do their business with, because they are wondering, okay, so, okay, we know we asked you to change on something. Probably customers want a payment plan. They can have a system where, for example, if you are offering, you're just doing their housing marketplace, so your customers who want houses to rent or to buy can just come to your platform, and then they'll be given a way forward. So you can decide also, consequently, you can decide, okay, so we are helping customers to find homes. Can't we do more? Like, for example, if somebody is doing rent and they want to pay rent the 5th of every month, can't we have a calendar in that embedded in that application or the app, where, or the web, where after on that 5th they can get a notification, okay, hey, you need to pay your rent by this day. So from management, or from your favorite housing solution. Also, you can decide, okay, people, we can help people buy homes, and we can have that we can have a financing partnership with banks, where people can just rent their house in our platform, and then we can just direct them to specific banks for financing. You can also have a savings plan, where you can say, you are renting today, what about you thinking about owning a house in the next 6 years? We have a new product for you. You can be saving that that product, and then after 6 years, you as a shelter hub, you can tell the customer, okay, you have saved this amount of money, and this was your goal, and we have a house just for you. So it's always good to know how you can iterate your product. So don't be rigid. In business, don't say, okay, nishaanza kupata pesa, and that's all. I'll just relax and just do the bare minimum for my business, because it's already giving me the returns that I always wanted in my business. So the other strategies on pivoting and iteration. So the pivot and iterate strategy in the startup or in any business, by pivoting or iterating, pivoting and iterating are critical, but serve different purposes. So for pivot is where you fundamentally change everything about your business, or change a particular thing about your business and say, okay, we're doing it, but now about one future, we don't even need to go to that path anymore. We're just going to change completely. So in another way is you change the customer segment or the problem you're addressing, and then should be considered when there is clear evidence that the current direction is not working. So if you are doing a product, especially you can find companies like Huawei. Huawei back in 2020, they were the second, I think the third best selling mobile phone company in the world after we had iPhone and Samsung. Then we had Huawei, and then when there was that that geopolitical situation between USA and China, and the USA said, okay, we are going to flag Huawei for collecting people data and sending it to the Chinese government. So from today, every company in the US that's doing, because the US has the best chip industry, they are very good at building chipsets for mobile phones and other electrical appliances. So when the US said we are not going to send chips to Huawei, and we are going to ban every company that's we are going to ban the trade between US tech companies with Chinese mobile maker Huawei. Huawei just completely stopped selling mobile phones. So people thought maybe Huawei is going to fail, but then Huawei went down and did something we call pivoting. So they decided, okay, we are still a technology company. What else can we do? So they went on to build 5G networks. So they are a leader in 5G technology. They also went on to build shipping companies. So they built very good shipyards, and now they are coming back to mobile phones, because using the 5G technologies, they were able to understand the business of making microchips, which are very good. For microchips, they allow the phone to run faster and do capabilities like artificial intelligence embedment into the mobile phones. So you see, Huawei did pivot. So they saw the current direction they are going as a business is not working. They're just going to crash, because they could not use Presto, they could not use chipsets from American companies like Snapdragon. So they just stopped completely making phones. So that's called a pivot. Iteration, on the other hand, is about refining your solution based on user feedback and data. So it should be a frequent process. Like I said, I have a 2-week iteration process. So embrace iteration to fine-tune your product continuously, and consider pivoting only as a strategic last resort. So which means before you start to pivot in your business, which is going to happen most of the time, like a business utafika mahali useme, okay, I'm just doing the bare minimum. My business is just working for the bare minimum. For the customers I'm serving, I'm not increasing on my customers, I'm just reducing customers. So what can I do? Rather than to decide to pivot, try to iterate first. Try to ask yourself, okay, this is the product you're offering, this is the solution you're offering. How can we improve? How can we do better about it? If you find that the new solution that you're coming up with it's not going to work, or in future is not going to be there. For example, tapeana mfano ya these companies building application behind artificial intelligence. So napata, like there is a company doing maybe they have planning for vacation using ChatGPT's API, and then after 1 year, ChatGPT just iterates their product, and then you can just do it using ChatGPT directly rather than using that person's company. So you see that business is not going to be there after 1 year. Even if they're going to be there, the founder will know that in future my business is not going to be existent because ChatGPT continues to improve their company, and then all the products that you're offering, they can just listen up from us within just another update on ChatGPT. So when it happens, to pivot and iterate should always be in the head of every business owner. Business is not concrete. Even Safaricom has had to iterate for the last 20 years. For the last 23 years, they have been in operation. 23 or 24 years, I think. So they have been in operation. So they are able to know, okay, in future, this is what the customers want. Am I in the next 1 year? Am I the next target group of people? Like now we are talking about Gen Zs. If you're building a product around Gen Zs, just know Gen Zs, when they grow, they still continue to be Gen Zs. But if your product is solving the issues of Gen Z, people between 25, maximum 27, I think. Maximum 27 years to up to 16 years. That product is based on that. But the moment Gen Z move out of that stage, the new generation Alpha will come to that age gap. And with the generation Alpha still adopt your product, probably or not. So it's good to always ask yourself this question as a business owner, because that in the future you can be able to iterate or pivot. You can decide, okay, the product we are offering to the Gen Zs, I think Generation Alpha with their tech savviness, they cannot take it just to kuunda kitu ingine, which is going to just solve the problem that Generation Alphas can be able to adopt as a product. So it's always good to know that. And then last but not least, it's always good to leverage on user feedback. I've mentioned this all through the training. So it's always good to build based on feedback. So direct engagement with users is essential in understanding their needs and ensuring that your product evolves around in the right direction. So the moment the customers, if you have 1,000 customers and 900 of them are complaining about a particular situation in your business, you cannot just relax and say, I have 100 of them who are still taking it, are still adopting my product. It's always good to listen to customer feedback. Like Karen has asked on on how she can improve on that act of having understanding customers' problems, and that act of contacting your customers. So it's always good to talk with your users regularly. You can see this mostly especially today, you just decided to call Safaricom. They will say that I'm going to save this conversation. And then afterwards, they can send you a message asking you, like, how do you think the conversation with our customer service has been? So they often like to ask those questions. So also build features based on genuine user requests. Don't just take every user request and just slap it on your product. For example, if you're doing something like something to do with food, you just cannot wake up one day because somebody said add sugar to something, and then you just decide to add sugar to that product. You're just going to overbuild your product, which is not good for things to do with, you can conflict with maybe regulation. KEBS, if KEBS has maximum limit, you can use sugar, and then customer just say, okay, add another sugar, and just going to add that sugar on top of it. You have conflict with the regulations. And also there are people, like, for example, if you say your product is sugar-free, but somebody wants sugar in a sugar-free product, you're not building the product in the right way. Also, it's good building features based on your customer request in a idea to build user satisfaction and build loyalty. Customers know we have a stake in that business, not necessarily monetary, but my opinions are being listened to. My opinions are being taken seriously by this business. So, for instance, by engaging with gamers, a company can gain insights to help prioritize features and the feature development, and that directly reduces their needs. So this happens from time to time. kwa mfano by Eldohub person, entrepreneur. So if a customer says the current mobile web app, ukijaribu kurogin a certain period of time inaanza ku lag behind, ama the pictures that we are getting haziko high quality, like you cannot even know the actual situation of that house juu amepiga picha, maybe amepiga in a bad angle, the camera that we are using, it's a low quality. So it's always good to listen to those feedbacks and ask yourself, can we improve on that? So that which will also come back down to 2-week iteration cycles. So you listen to the feedback and then you take the shortest minimum possible time to build on those feedbacks. Juu hiyo itasaidia most of the customers feel if something happens, I can be able to call someone. The reason why most customers in Kenya don't buy things online is because they are afraid, na nikibuy nitaongea na nani afterwards. Who is going to listen to my concerns if something is not good? So that's why customers really find it hard to buy online. So because in the physical shop, something happens, you just go there jioni mwambie. For example, hii mayai uliniuzia jana ilikuwa karibu kutoa vifaranga, so probably nirudishie pesa ama we change ama you work on that on checking on your qualities in the future. So another thing is do rapid product development. So before I continue, anyone who has a question or a comment to add? Okay, so we shall proceed also with rapid product development. So like I said, iterate quickly. Iteration, where I said, is improving on the product that you have, and then test your minimum viable product. We have tackled minimum viable product with Charles before. I remember that training session. So, so rapid iteration is essential in finding product market fit. So, rapid iteration means if you're going to improve on your product, do it fastly and also use customers' feedback so that you can find a product market fit. Product market fit means that the product that you're building is the perfect fit for the target customers that you have. Like I said, build a product around your customers. So you find the customers, you listen to them, and then you build a product for that. So that makes it a product market fit. Make it product market fit, and then develop a minimum viable product and test it quickly with your target audience. So in happening, saying you are going to build something, a minimum viable product, that's the product that it's like, we call it most of the time, a dummy product, which means unafanya hivi, like if you're going to build on something new, ama customers amekupea feedback, na wewe umechukua feedback ukabuild another product, but you want, hautaki kui-launch, useme this is the product that you have improved on. So you build that minimum viable product, alafu unatafuta a specific target group of people, naambia, can you try this out? Can you try out this product before you must launch it? Juu inaweza kuwa the new improvement you have made that product, it's but the customers needs, but ikienda watu kutumia wanasema, hey, there's a big difference. This happens back in the 90s. Back in the 90s, for those of us, hatuko tumezaliwa, but we have learned, tumesoma kuhusu, there's this conflict between Coca-Cola and na Coca-Cola ni company gani ingine? Which company is that Coca-Cola ina compete sana kwa beverages? Can I get that from one of you?
Pepsi Cola.
Yes, thank you. Pepsi Cola. So in the 90s, in the late 80s and early 90s. So your time Coca-Cola and Pepsi walikuwa like they were here, they
We
walikuwa
lost you
pamoja.
for a bit.
Apologies.
Ama ni mimi. I think ni internet yangu, sorry.
Okay.
My internet has gone.
Sorry, okay. So what I was saying is in the late 80s and early 90s, ulipata like Coca-Cola and Pepsi were like competing together. They were on the same level. And at one particular time, Pepsi became the most sold beverage in the world. They beat Coca-Cola. No, they not beat Coca-Cola. What happened is people in the US, where the two companies are based, decided to were given a survey. So people like a company came and said, we're going to survey people who use Pepsi Cola and people who use Coca-Cola, and then we are going to remove the branding from those two drinks, and then we are going to give it to people without knowing which is which. So after giving the two drinks to the target group, a majority of the group said one drink was the best, a majority of them. And so the 50% were from Coca-Cola and 50% were from Pepsi. So majority of the target group said that Pepsi was the best drink. It was the sweet between the two. So what happened is Coca-Cola decided they got information on that survey, so they decided, okay, we are going to make our drink like more sweet like Pepsi, because Coca-Cola and Pepsi are two different products. So Coca-Cola went on to build a product that's sweeter than Pepsi. So it was a very good product, but the moment they took it to the market without doing that, so what I said, the minimum viable product, they'll give it to a smaller group of people before mass launching it. They forgot the small group of people and just went to mass launch it. And people hated that drink. People who drank Coca-Cola said, no, we cannot drink this thing. It's sweeter, yes, but it's not the Coca-Cola that you're used to. So what happened is Pepsi just took walienda kwa gazeti wakabuy a whole page and they just wrote the other guy French, which means Pepsi was becoming better than Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola decided, Coca-Cola walienda wakaona ati watu wanasema Pepsi is sweeter than Coca-Cola, and then decided to change their business completely without telling people or having a small group of people to test out the product before they must launch it, which means in your business, before launching something in masses, just make sure that you test out with a small group of people, and don't take people when you mnajuana, but you take your family and give them the product to test. You pay people to do the testing. People are just going to say it's good. The moment you must launch it, people are just going to find it hard to use that product because it might have changed completely or it's not meeting their standards. So it's always good to develop that minimum viable product. So for companies come Eldohub, if you in the future utakuwa na mobile application, you can have a better testing group where any build ni unatengeneza, you give it to that group first to test before utume your update kwa Play Store ama kwa Apple App Store. So that's a minimum viable product. Also, I use feedback to refine the product, to add features that are in demand and limit those that do not add value. Which means if you are building, if you have a physical product, especially tuseme uko na duka, and then in that shop unapata like the new feature that customers want, hawataki ukikuitisha ungo unatoa ungo unampatia, they just want an open layout. Customer anaingia anajichagulia vitu zake, and then they come to the checkout, checkout vitu zenye wanataka, alafu wanaenda. And then another thing that I don't, if mshaigundua, like it's something that supermarkets don't tell people, don't tell the other retailers, is the moment you put your space free for person to choose, ina affect their brains. People feel like before achague kitu atakuwa na fight those call them the inner demons, like tinamu influence and no. So the moment the floor is open, customer will spend more money than when anakuitisha kitu juu sasa anakuitisha kitu, they already know what they want, but the moment the store is open, customer atanunua more things than they expected to have bought akiingia hapo hivyo supermarket. So what I meant to say is when you're building a product, add features that are in demand. So ask yourself, as a shop owner, nini inaweza fanyika kwa duka yangu, no? At least I continue to have a market fit product. Unaweza amua like from today, I'm just going to find a fundi and nifungulie duka yangu ikuwa open. Just customers wanachagua kenye anataka, and then I'll just be there on the checkout to do the transaction. That's all. And then also there are products that you don't need to have. Kuna vitu fai kuwa nazo kwa like zimepitwa na time. If something imepitwa na time and it's only a small number of people using it, I always say it's good to eliminate it. Just don't put it there. Like it's going to hinder things. it's a product that people don't use, na hiyo ndo stock mingi, customers will find no space to add things that are in demand. So it's always good to know from feedback the things that are in demand or things that that don't add value to either you or the customers. The other thing is to know is the faster you iterate and respond to user feedback, the more likely you are to build a product that meets market needs and gains traction. Gaining traction means it's something that can be adopted by customers easily. And also, the moment you iterate from customers' feedback, don't take your sweet time because customers' preferences do change. Now, as you know, we are all Kenyans. Tukiamua leo tunataka hii, especially for music. You can see it from music. Even though ikitoka this time, everyone, even the small kid is singing it. And after a short while, tunaisahau because we have lost interest so already. So the moment you're building a product, use that thinking that if I take more of my sweet time to maybe try to beautify it or make it better, customers will have already lost interest in it and found something else to do to solve their problems that they are currently facing at that time. Any question up to that? Okay, so lastly is I just wanted to remind you that to build a successful product, focus on solving a specific high intensity problem for a well-defined product, which means I'm going to say it again, build a product around your customers. Don't bring customers around your product, because the moment you understand customers, you can be able to build you can be able to build light, or you can be able to build a product market fit. To build a product market fit, and then also use which I said, which I did not advise for, or I did not say you should completely take it up, is use a higher pricing strategy to attract serious customers and validate your product quickly. In this, I said you can decide to use either other pricing strategies for your own. If you feel that using a higher pricing strategy is just going to bring a fewer customers for your business, but you want to mass produce for a lot. If you want to mass produce for a lot, be like companies come out. If you are when you we have tech, there's this company inaitwa Temu from China. Temu, the way it sound. That company sells products at a loss, but they are valued. I think the last time I heard, I don't know, I think last month, they were valued close to $25 billion, but they sell at a loss, which means they are selling to a larger number of people, and investors are saying that this product has a very big, a large number of consumers database. So if in future they decided to maybe sell in a profit, they're not going to lose all of them. They're just going to lose just a short period, number of customers, because they would have built on the logistics. They would have built a solid logistics where they could easily deliver within a short period of time, or a short turnaround. So you can decide. So for them, they are selling at a lower price, or they are removing the middlemen, and customers are buying directly from the producers, and it's their work to just ship, but they are doing it at a loss. They are doing it at a loss. Every product they have, I think 99% of their products, they're doing it at a loss, which is a marketing strategy that people do call loss reading. So they are just doing their losing, but they're getting the customer data. They're getting the customer, the number of customers. So customers are refusing to buy from Amazon or other products like AliExpress, Alibaba, or the other one, Wish, but they're buying directly from Temu. So they have a chunk or a gold mine of customer data and customer information, which they can use in future if they want to go to the profitability path. So always embrace a culture of rapid iteration, which also mean when you talk about iteration, it's taking customer feedback and then ask yourself, do I need to iterate or to pivot from to pivot in my business. So it's always good for you as a founder, as an owner of that business, to be able to know at which stage should I iterate, which iteration we said is improving on the product that we have according to user feedback. Or pivot is where you feel like, okay, even if I iterate, we're not going to be existent in the next 6 months or 1 year. So it's always good early on. We try to change our business model. I try to change our business or our product to try and fight that threat to closing our business. And the last three is these strategies will help you to increase your sales and meet the evolving needs of your customers, which also remember is on the rapid development and user feedback. So user feedback is very essential when building successful products. So anyone who has a question to that point? Or any clarification angetaka? So, so tomorrow for announcements, kesho we are supposed to have the physical session. So anuangapi walikuwa wameconfirm the availability? We had like 90% of you mlikuwa umesema yes, you'll be here tomorrow. So that we can arrange space for you, and then we can do that product thing. The assignment that Magdalene gave now, who feels comfortable to present on that assessment that you gave out to the group? What question do I send to the group? Okay, let me look for it. Ni wangapi wako comfortable kuuliza hapo hivyo? We see if you can do it. Ama mko free kuifanya kesho, ama mko open kuifanya kesho? So Coach Oyungi is saying it's going to be tomorrow, but I need to get the previous. Yes, we are going to send the recordings after this. I'm going to compile them together and then watumie for the last 3 days. And then for you, I think most of them will be on YouTube, but we have made it private. So we are going to just get the links and send it to you directly. So I can see that most of you want to present tomorrow. So which is